It's been a while since we've worked on the EmComm Junior trailer. This was an old trailer sitting in AC4DM's barn, and we rolled it out and began to refurb the trailer. So we're going to take it back out. We want to get some of the wiring done that allows us to use the lights, and we're going to install some new LED lights on the trailer. Plus, we'll talk a little bit about what led up to this point. That's what's coming up next on LCARA Ham Radio. So we got the trailer back out. Now I wanted to show a couple of pictures of where we've come from with this trailer. And as you can see in this photo, we've taken the sides off. It was reddish, kind of rusty colored. There's with the panels on that AC4DM had installed. Now originally it was just the trailer, it didn't have the panels, and we needed to refurb all of this. Notice the small tires and so on. So we just wanted to go down memory lane because we started this project last year and it's been a while since we revisited this trailer because of other pressing needs that we have as a club and COVID. So you can see we've done some sanding. We were cleaning up those panels and so forth. Here we've got the belt sander out and just making sure we get off as much of the old paint as possible. Then we got started on the trailer itself. We had to make some adjustments. We took off the old fenders because we were going to put on much larger tires. I believe it had 12-inch tires, maybe somewhere in that ballpark. We wanted to upgrade to 15s. Not only would that allow us to carry more weight, but give us more stability. So AC4DM is going to get out the old, I guess you'd say the saw here, if you will, and we'll go through that weld and take off that fender. Alrighty, so we've got the fender off, and you can see the new tire is installed, and so we felt pretty good about that. We need to make a couple of more adjustments on these little metal tabs that held up the fender, the old fender. We're going to put on new fenders, which AC4DM just happened to have some new fenders down in one of his barns. And we got to work on the panels themselves. Once we sanded them down, we wanted to paint them LCARA blue. So we got busy, and you can see here's the trailer with the trailer has been de-rusted, if you will. We knocked off all the rust. We painted it black. We also painted the floor an anti-skid paint, and then we have the panels painted blue. So you can see we'd made a lot of good progress on the trailer the last time that we worked on it. You can kind of see those fenders sitting in the bed there. So this is me walking around it this past work day, and it's time to do some of the wiring. AC4DM and KY4CKP took off the old wiring to get ready for the new LED lights. And so we wanted to get started with that this particular work day. Trailer's looking really good. Can't wait till we get the fenders on there. Plus we have hoops that go from one side to the other on the top of these panels to kind of make it look like a Conestoga wagon. So we were doing some measuring. We were going to use a bracket, and we were just going to drill some holes and then mount some lights that AC4DM just happened to have in the shop, LED base lights. And so we had these brackets, and we thought, well, let's drill some holes. We'll drill the holes in the brackets, and then we'll drill holes into the tab that you see here sticking out where the old lights used to go. So we headed off to one of his shacks where he's got a number of tools. We've got a drill press here. This is a different one than some of the other videos you may have seen where we use a drill press. This is a different shop. And we thought, well, we'll drill some holes into these this angle iron, if you will. And what we found was this angle iron was incredibly hard, very difficult to drill holes through. And so we decided, well, maybe this is not the best idea we could have come up with. On paper, it looked good, but it was going to be more work than we really wanted to get into with this with these angles. So we tried drilling some holes, and we got 2 or 3 drilled, but it was a lot of effort. So we changed direction. And we said, well, let's take the tabs that are already there that the old lights were mounted to. Let's make some adjustments so that the new lights will fit into that space, if you will, and then we'll do some fitment and make sure that they look good. So the Sawzall came out, and AC4DM got to work. It's one of the things about HAMRadio is not only can you get involved with building things like an EmComm Junior trailer for your generators and things like that, but sometimes the fabrication skills have to come out. And that's one of the things I've learned from AC4DM is you can't always buy it off the shelf. You might actually have to make some adjustments. So the Sawzall comes out, and what we're doing is we're basically taking off some of the metal on the top side here where the light is a little bit, it's not square, it has a little bit of a bulb on top, and we wanted to accommodate for that. So we put the light up there, did a couple more eyeball measurements using the micrometer, and then made some more cuts. I never knew how important a Sawzall could be, but being around AC4DM, this is one of those tools everybody should have. We almost have this one cut now. We're going to come back the other way, and then that little piece of metal will drop right out of there. Okay, so now we've got those tabs cut the way we feel would work the best with the lights that we have. You can see those holes already in the plate. They actually fit the lights perfectly. So there's some kind of standard that makes that so. And we're just filing off some of these edges. Oh my goodness. One thing you want to be careful of when you make these new cuts on metal like this is to file those edges down, because boy, they are sharp. AC4DM is going to do a quick fitment install here, and he's installing the ground wire on the back of the light. And then in just a few moments, you'll see we'll be testing those lights. We haven't actually turned these on, so they've been sitting in his inventory for many years, so we want to see if they're going to work the way we hope they will. Now you can see it kind of installed. It's got the light to the left. It also has a little light for a license plate underneath. And we're installing the light on the other side here as well. It also has a little ground wire that will go on the back of the light. And then we shall connect some power and see if they both work. Here's that wire. Now, one of the things I learned, there's a green and yellow set of wires on the driver's side, and a yellow and brown set of wires on the passenger side, and those have meaning. When you're actually installing these kinds of lights, you have a light that is going to be used for when you actually hit the brake or when you turn on your turn signal, and then the other wire can be used for, again, for turn signal, green for left and yellow for right. Or I may have it backwards, but in any event, the wires or the colors of those wires are actually very important. So here we're just doing some final tightening of the screws here, and then we'll actually hook up the wires to some power and do some tests. Got out our trusty 12-volt battery, and again we're connecting one of the alligator clips to ground and the other here to our wiring. And sure enough, the light came on. It's hard to tell in this picture. You can almost see it glowing a little bit there on the left-hand side. And now he's simulating either a turn signal or if you hit your brake pedal. Now we're on the other side. You can see it better lit here. And I'm just double checking that it's on both sides. It is, again, difficult because of the sun on this side. And then we're going to test it. Will it blink? And will simulate putting on the brake pedal? And the answer is yes, indeed. So from a wiring standpoint, the lights work. Now we actually have to run the wiring from where the lights are installed to the front of the trailer so that we can go into our 4-conductor plug that will then go to your truck or whatever vehicle will be towing this. Because we had taken the old wiring out, we're installing the wiring that came with these lights, and there were what were essentially washers welded to the frame that make these little eyelets that you can run your wiring through. AC4DM also had some fuel line hose that we could use to run the wiring through the actual washer so that we wouldn't get chafing on the wiring itself. So with a few nylon ties, we made that work. And again, we're underneath this trailer. This is maybe 18, 20 inches off the ground. So hot, sunny day, but we made it happen. So we start finishing up the wiring that we have a little bit left. We, again, have to run this from front to back. So we're going through these welded washers, and you can see that little bit of fuel line that we've cut to size going through the washer itself, and then the wire goes through the fuel line so that it's not going to chafe. Now this is the 4-pin connector on the side that's going to go into your vehicle, and we've got the same colored wires there, yellow, brown, green, and so forth. White wire for ground, so that when you connect your trailer to the ball on, say, your truck, that you'll have good ground from trailer to your truck as well. And so we had to finish up a little bit of the wiring again from front to back. Now, folks watching this video, you might say, well, Brian, why am I watching a trailer video when this is ham radio? Well, we're going to use this as our EmComm Junior. This is going to carry our generator, fuel, anchor blocks, antennas. We hope to potentially install a antenna that we can hoist upward during field day events and so forth. So this trailer is going to be used by our club, another asset for our club to use when we go out into the field. And that's why these projects should be a lot of fun. It's to help us in our ham radio endeavors, even though it's a trailer that we've resurrected from being in a barn for over 15, 20 years. For the Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association, stay tuned for part 5 as we finish up on this trailer, get the hoops installed, the other hardware installed, and hopefully some type of a covering to keep the rain out. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give us a like, a thumbs up, subscribe. 73.